Hey everyone, in today's video I wanted to do a comparison between these two tech organizers. Now these are both made by Bagsmart and they are both available on Amazon right now for around $15 to $20 depending on when you buy them. So on the left, from what I can tell, this is the older version. And the material is kind of they're both nylon, but this one's a little bit more, I don't know, the kind of standard backpack material. It feels good, feels premium. It's got this kind of little racing stripe here and this logo emblazoned on it. In my opinion, it looks a little bit more, I don't know, 90s tech. And then this one I think is the newer of the two, but it's been around for a long time as well. I've seen videos going back 4 or 5 years for this design. But it's made of kind of that more, I don't know, modern material, maybe the 2010s, very popular kind of heathered material here, and it's a little bit smaller logo here, so a little bit more, I don't know, this one seems a little bit more modern if you're just looking at them from a aesthetic standpoint, but that's not necessarily the most important thing. So we're gonna dive in here in a second. First I will point out that the zippers, they feel very similar, but I'm just gonna call this one the black one and this one the gray one from now on, because there's no other really identifiers. The black one here has kind of these nylon cord pulls with Bagsmart emblazoned little tags on there, and so they're a little quieter when you're getting that out and jangling that around. It's a little quieter, versus these are metal. They're also labeled for Bagsmart, but they jingle a little bit. So if you're sensitive to something like that, that might be something to consider between the two. But in terms of the exterior differences, that's about it. They are literally basically the exact same size, although this one is a little bit thicker. I can already tell it's got a little bit more fabric in here and be able to expand a little bit more. So let's zip them up. We'll lay them flat like this so we can see both of them at the same time. All right, so now that we have them both open, and a reminder, this is the black one on the left and the gray one is here on the right, we can start to see some immediate differences. They both have this area here with kind of a nylon elastic loop for cables, and then a little mesh pocket that's just open on each end for any little dongles that you may have. This side, same thing. There's 4 here, and there are 5 here. Now, the biggest difference here is that these 4 are much tighter spaced together than these 5, since they're taking up the entire width of the bag. But on this side, you get an additional zippered mesh pocket on this end. So in total, in terms of these kind of cable loops, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're actually even there, they're just laid out a little bit differently. So looking over on the black one first, let's look at the 2 zippered pockets. So you have this one on the bottom, and it's all one big open mesh pocket there. And then on the other side, same thing with a large open mesh pocket, but with the difference that it has this kind of, it's kind of a rubbery material that is intended for like SD cards. They have SIM card TF on here as well, but let's grab a SIM card. They're all the exact same size slot, so you can fit a SIM card. You can fit 3 SIM cards in here. And then these bottom pockets are just kind of larger versions of the other ones. They have elastic and mesh behind. Now on this side, the only zipper pocket that you get is on this side, and it's one large open pocket, but it does have, you can see, kind of a pleat here. So it's got some ability to stretch out and be a little bit bigger, which this one did not have. It also has a little hidden SD card holder, which is interesting. It folds and into that flap, and it's just like a piece of kind of the seat belt material that has, I don't know, it's just like a stitched little box here. So we'll grab our SD card again and try to fit it in there. This is much less satisfying to me than the other one. So yeah, you can get in there. You get one SD card slot essentially, even though it's labeled SD cards. The problem with this that I've already found is that if you push too far, it swallows your SD card. Your SD card is now belongs to the band here. So you kind of have to then kind of push on the bottom to get it to pop up enough so you can get your nail on it. So yeah, overall, if you're rating the SD card slots, I don't prefer this. But if you need an SD card and you just need it in a pinch, you can put one in there and I guess there it is. So what I want to do next is load out both of these bags with the exact same item so you can see exactly how it fits and how that might fit into your life. So first of all, let's check out what items we are going to fit in there. So I have got a laptop charging brick. I have a USB-C to USB-C cable that I usually use to charge my laptop. I have a USB-A to USB-C cable that I typically use to charge my phone. I have a USB-A to micro USB that I travel with just in case I need it. I then have a USB-C dock here, so I can do my SD card reader, HDMI, everything for my MacBook or Dell XPS 13. I have a Samsung T7 external hard drive with its cable. I have a bunch of thumb drives. So I just carry a couple that are USB-C to USB-A, and I have an old large capacity USB-A as well. I have a USB-C to USB-A adapter in case I don't want to get out my full dongle. I have a very cheap pair of earbuds here. I have a USB-C to headphone adapter, as well as a 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch headphone adapter if that becomes a need. And then I have a short HDMI cable, which I can use to plug in a external monitor with if I am, or a TV to present something. And then this is probably the weird thing that I have. I use this little HDMI video capture. I work in AV events, and at some point in every live event right now, someone asks for it to go hybrid. And so this is just a really easy and cheap way to get any camera source or laptop source into a computer, which has saved me multiple times. So this is by no means all the tech that I usually travel with, but I figured this is a pretty good kind of maximum that most people would ever need to carry, whether you carry a mouse instead of a hard drive, what have you. Hopefully this is a helpful guide in terms of how these things fit in here. So with that, let's go ahead and see how everything loads up into the first bag. All right, so first I've loaded up the black case here with everything. So what I decided to do was put the charging brick down here in the bottom zippered mesh pocket. I've got all of my kind of shorter cables up here. There's my USB cable, and then I have my, it's hard to see here, but I have my headphone earbuds along with the USB-C adapter together in there. And then behind those, into the mesh pockets, I put a matching donk, like a little adapter. So I have my headphone adapter, then the USB-C A to C, and then the two small thumb drives, and the larger thumb drive is here as well. Over here, I did the HDMI cable into just in this loose mesh. It's not in the elastic, and then I put its little HDMI dongle right there, the little capture card, and I put the dock here, and into this zippered mesh pocket is where I fit the hard drive. What I will say is that getting access to these adapters is very tricky when you have your cables in here. Now, if you just were having like very thin cables like earbuds, it wouldn't be a huge deal. But let's say I want to get these thumb drives out and not take this cable out. Well, let's just see how much work that is. I mean, you kind of gotta get in there. All right, so there I got it out. That is not quick access to me. I wouldn't really prefer that. If I was going to use this as an everyday carry item, I use these constantly. So I would definitely move all of these adapters over into a mesh pocket like this, which would then make me not feel super comfortable also keeping my hard drive in there because it's a relatively flat pocket. It definitely could fit all those things in there. Or you could stuff them all in this elastic pocket, but I think they would just fall right out. I kind of wish that this was a smaller zippered pocket for something like that, like those small thumb drives. Let's see how this one closes up. So there you go. It does close just fine. There's a little bit of extra room there. You can see my power adapter is kind of pushing on the outside here, so it's kind of lost its super sleek profile, but overall it's still very minimal. If you need to stick this into a front pocket of a backpack or something like that, I think this would totally fit. So a quick thing I wanted to test as well, because I know a lot of people have these larger Apple bricks. Let's just see how that looks in the same pocket. This is the huge cable that came with it, which I don't travel with. I travel with the small one, but let's see. Can we get that all in there? No, yeah, you wouldn't be able to zip that up. So probably if I needed to travel with this, I would have the cable either ride up in one of these loops, which is pretty thick for, or, you know, most people may not need an HDMI cable on a daily basis. You could easily squeeze it in over on this side. All right, next let's load up all of this into the gray bag. All right, so next let's check out how everything got loaded up into the gray bag. So it's the same loadout, so we'll just start with the outside here, and we can see that still pretty sleek here overall. Open that up and see how everything went in. So pretty similar. I loaded up all the cables for the most part on this one side. I was able to fit the HDMI cable because we do have a 5th loop here, as well as that adapter here. And then same thing, I put all the little thumb drives and dongles into the mesh pockets over here. Into this zippered mesh pocket, I do have the hard drive again. I got the adapter up here, and then this, which I forgot to mention earlier, this has an extra pocket behind the zippered pocket. It's not zippered, but it is an open pocket back there, and so that is where I have the power brick right now. And so that is what was causing the same thing, a little bit of protrusion on the outside here. So what I like about this one over the other one is that this is a lot less compressed. It's a lot easier to get cables in and out of these wider slots, as well as you're getting the full thing here. So it's still tricky to get out the, like a thumb drive here if I needed it, but it's a little easier. So I'm able to get that out. Again, I think on a daily basis, I would struggle with that given how much I use these, but if you don't use them a lot, maybe not that big of a deal. I was worried on both bags that these mesh elastics, this elastic's not that tight over here. I was worried that things would fall out, but I tested it on both bags. You know, I'll grab it here, give it a good shake, and you can see, well, you know, we did lose one there that snuck out. But the advantage of this bag is that it's zippered, so you're not actually going to lose anything. It just might fall out when you get out. But that happened, which is why it's a little bit of a bummer that there's not an extra zipper for this back pocket, is that whatever's back there is going to come out if you end up moving around like that. The other advantage of this one is that in the exact same loadout, we actually still have an extra cable slot here. So you could easily put a pen, an extra cable, what have you. Let's check out the Apple adapter as well. It can fit back there, no problem. I could also roll up this cable and then either try to stick it in this little thing, which I wouldn't. I would probably put it down here. If I was going to do that. Out of these 5 elastic bands, this one's pretty significantly wider, so you could definitely fit a longer cable that's rolled up here. So yeah, you could fit that there. You could also just throw it back here. I mean, that's the nice thing about this kind of open pocket back here is that it just expands to fit whatever. So you could totally do that and still zip it up. It starts to get bigger and bigger. So that's the big advantage here is that you can see in the corner here, there's just extra fabric, so it can be compressed down when it's not full. But if you need to load up some extra things in there, this one will allow it, whereas this one really doesn't have extra material to expand out. All right, so let's wrap this up. What do I think of these 2 bags? While they are very similar in size and dimension, this one definitely expands to offer more storage. So if you need more than what I showed you here, I like this one a little bit better. I also really appreciated in this one just the cable area here being wider. It's a lot easier to get things in and out of than the same area on this side, which is a lot more compressed. I mean, you can just see them like that. I mean, the area that has 4 here, they fit only 3. So there's definitely a lot more space to fit your cables in. What I like better about this one is the SD card slots, having 3 of those. If you're a photographer and this is more of a photography bag where you just need a couple cables, some SD cards, maybe a battery or 2, like camera batteries down here, this one's a really nice option because of this feature. The SD card here slot I would just never use. Overall, very, very similar bags. Two zippered pockets here is nice if you have a lot of small things that you don't want running around versus the one here. It's kind of different things. This is a little bit more streamlined and sleek when it's folded the fabric, holds its shape a little bit better versus this has got more volume in it. But yeah, overall, if I was having to choose between these two bags, because they are around the same price, I would definitely go this route for myself personally, just based on the amount of things that I carry. And again, the ease of use. I think the cables, I would get so frustrated trying to get cables in and out of this, so I would probably never do it. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button below and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.